This is Your Spiritual Game Plan, a podcast that helps you understand that God's got a plan and you have a purpose in it. I'm your host, Cheri Fletcher. I can't believe it's June already. I hope that you guys have some fun summer activities lined up. I know for me, June is exciting because it's the 1-year birthday of this podcast. And I want to take this time to thank you so much for all that you've done, for support, for feedback, for emails that you guys have sent me. They are truly a gift. So thank you. So this summer, I'm going to mix it up a little bit, and I'm going to take to heart the words that God spoke to me through 2 close friends. They gave me some feedback that might have been a little bit hard to chew on. Do you have a friend, or maybe 2, that can say it like it is with so much love that it doesn't sting, but actually is liberating? Well, in a nutshell, my 2 friends said to me, Cheri, we want to hear more of your thoughts on your podcast. They both admitted to not listening to many episodes because I didn't share enough of my point of view. That's kind of a scary thought. It's vulnerable, and the enemy loves that when we're vulnerable because that's when he can really work on our hearts. That's when he tries to make us believe that really there's nothing we could share that someone would want to listen to. Yet, aren't I the one that challenges others to unlock the very purpose God has placed in them, and that even though our roles in life will change, and mine have, that our purpose is eternal? Well, it's not a secret that God has a plan. But we often forget that the enemy has a plot. A plot against us using the very purpose that God needs us to use today in whatever role we are in right now. That plot is very strategic. It's very personal, and it's custom designed to align with the very plan that God has for us. Even as I wrote these words, he kept reminding me that I'm not really saying anything new here. What does he tell you? If God has given you a gift of, let's say, hospitality, the enemy is going to be very crafty in showing you and reminding you the places you don't measure up and the areas that you've already botched it. So often, our purpose seems too small to really make a difference. I would like to challenge that thought, and I want to ask you, what difference are you looking for? When I ask those who say they need to find their purpose, what it would look like and how they would know they had found it, their answer is some form of human validation. This is the evidence of the enemy's plot in action. He wants you to believe that you don't have a purpose by making you feel unseen, making you feel irrelevant, and having you to believe that your purpose is something that you will arrive at when you are, let's say, discovered, or you get that promotion, or you will have arrived at the purpose God gave you when you win over that certain person, when you've converted them, or you have convinced them of God's way, or you can see that you have made this huge difference. Then you will know that you have arrived. I'm sure that you can fill in what you believe it would look like to have discovered your purpose. But for right now, let's focus on the idea of I will have arrived at my purpose when I am discovered. Okay? I can tell you with conviction that your purpose is not to be discovered. It is to use the very gifts that God gave you to help others discover Him. So let's think about that again. I can tell you with conviction that your purpose is not to be discovered, but it is to use the very purpose that God has placed in you to help others discover Him. For some, that will be in a very grand way, and for others, it will be in smaller ways. No matter what, they should all lead the way to the cross. How do we do that? That is where you need to have a spiritual game plan. Isaiah 32:8 says that a noble man has a noble plan so that on noble deeds he can stand. It takes planning to be able to stand firm on the foundation of God and to live out the very purpose that He gave us. I want to help you develop a spiritual game plan so that you can live out the purpose that God has created for you. I love to share the message of just how intentionally you were made to be a part of God's plan. You are a masterpiece. You were created by an intentional God who made a masterpiece with a plan for it. He did not create a masterpiece and expect for you to figure out why. I want to use this podcast to help you unlock the purpose that God placed in you, to develop a game plan for your life's calling, and to embrace that intentional masterpiece that you were created to be. I hope that you will continue to join me this summer as I take on the challenge that my friends gave me and share more of my thoughts with you. I'm also going to have fun interviewing a very special friend, and we're going to look back over the year of this podcast. And I will look forward to sharing a replay of my very first podcast ever with Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith. So if this podcast has blessed you, will you do me a favor, or should I say a birthday gift, and leave a rating and an honest review? Your feedback is such a gift to me. Just like the feedback I got from my two friends, it helps me serve you better. It also helps me grow in my own purpose. So thank you. Thank you for this 1 year together, and thank you for listening to the Spiritual Game Plan, the podcast that helps you understand that God has a plan and you have a purpose in it.